Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already, please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe, check out membership. We have a lot going on as always. All the list of lives for the membership is in the community tab, and then you can see in the playlists all the videos that I have. I'm on the 16th course now, so lots to do in membership for sure. So lots to cover today. Oh my goodness. So remember how I told you with the Ahmaud Arbery case that he would get justice. It would just take a long time. Well, Travis Michael was sentenced to life in prison for a hate crime. So, you know, I mean, it's a funny sense of justice because we did lose, Mr. Arbery, but at the same time, at least, something was done, right? It was taken seriously. There was some action taken, which is more than what has happened so often times in the past. So a small victory. As you know, things have been moving right along with the Inflation Reduction Act. That's a really big bill, $369 million, and that's been moving forward. So, lots of good things happening. We always hear all the bad things, but there's always more good things happening in the world than bad. That's for sure. So I thought today we'll look at some things that we haven't looked at before, and actually for the most part, I think they're all things that we haven't looked at before. Because we keep talking, sometimes I feel like we keep talking about the same things. So let's look at some other things. So one of the things that's going on between us and China right now is, as you probably know, we have a fentanyl problem, right? And so China has now said, well, because Nancy Pelosi went over there and, to Taiwan, and they're angry that they're no longer going to cooperate with the fentanyl crisis, and they're not going to help us catch the people that are trafficking and help us to prosecute them. And when I started reading about this, I knew that the problem was bad, but I didn't realize that one person dies every 5 minutes from a fentanyl overdose. And last year in the US, we lost 100,000 people. So I thought we would take a look at how this fentanyl crisis with the overdoses, with China's lack of support, is going to go over the next year or so. Let's look over the next several months and let's see if this is going to get any better, because I think so many people have been affected by these overdoses. You can tell me in the comments, your thoughts. I know in my town, we've definitely had issues with overdoses for sure. So, please share any stories that you have. I always read everything. I can't always respond, but I do read everything. Okay. Yeah, so I don't love this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it seems like it's going to take a bit to get there. And it seems like we're going to go about it in the wrong ways too. So, all right, let me take a look here. So the cards that I just pulled, for right now, yeah, China's getting away with it, with not helping us, but it helps them too, doesn't it? I mean, they must have similar issues. It's a worldwide problem. It's not a unique to America problem, even though we might be suffering more than other countries. But still, I mean, other countries are having a problem. So right now they're getting away with it. They're waiting for their ship to come in. Yeah, I mean, China's waiting for things that just aren't going to happen. Nobody's going to help them take over Taiwan. It's just not going to happen. And I think also, too, we're all waiting for better mental health services, aren't we? So we are going to persevere. Those people that have these addictions, that have these problems, they'll persevere. They'll keep putting one foot in front of the other. But of course, too, how many are going to end up in the legal system? That's not where they belong. These people need to actually go through rehab and get some real help. And I really do feel like right now the Chinese government, and I always like to differentiate governments from people, right? Because Chinese people are Chinese people, right? I mean, then people are people. We're not our governments. So, right now the Chinese government is abusing their power, and it's going to have some real consequences, unfortunately, Moving on, some of you have asked me, is Russia and China going to team up to try to do something with Taiwan? And I really get no. I mean, Russia has nothing left to offer, first of all. They're broke. China isn't doing so great financially either. I mean, their economy's not good. They're having a huge housing crisis, a huge banking problem, a huge mortgage issue. The majority of the Chinese are no longer even paying their mortgages. It's a problem, right? So we can take a look to see if, they're going to team up and anything's going to come from it, but let's take a look. Let's say Russia and China teaming up together. And then we're going to look at Paul Manafort too, because he made a stunning admission not that long ago. Okay. So right now, undecided. At a crossroads, don't know what to do. So Russia is thinking about it. China's thinking about it. But at the same time, how much does one really have to offer the other? Because if you're going to have this kind of like partnership, what does each party get out of it? And it doesn't seem like a lot. And I think too, it's because Russia's hands are rather tied. So as we think about this teaming up together, this partnership, this relationship, their hands are tied. They've spent all that they've had. Russia's economy is no better than China's at this moment. And then I get the card of pulling back, withdrawing, retreating, going within, Do I think necessarily that anybody in this deal is going to be more meditative and introspective? No, I do not. So I'm taking it more as a retreating and a withdrawal and pulling back. So I'm not really seeing, if it happens, nothing's going to come of it. That's what I'm getting. So I wouldn't worry about it. I know so many of you ask me about, is this going to be World War III? And I don't think so. I'm not getting those vibes. So Paul Manafort, he was 45's campaign chairman at one point, and he admitted to sharing info with the Russians. What a stunning admission, first of all. But for him to do that, he must have known something, right? He must have known something. There had to have been a reason, something in it for him. So let's take a look at it. And this is what I think myself and many others have predicted, that 45 is a sinking ship and the rats are jumping off. So I don't think 45 is going to be spared in any way, shape, or form. But let's take a look at, I'm more curious about the motives behind this, because obviously there's more to this story. Why would you admit something so egregious, treasonous? So let's take a look here. Okay, so now this is interesting. We get the smug merchant. We know that he did it for money, right? Because he's already talked about that. We know that he did it for cash. No surprise. His obstacle, he's not seeing a new beginning for himself. Here's the Sun card, right? It's a card of enlightenment, new beginnings. And he's not seeing that for himself. The sun is not coming out for him. He's only seeing dark days ahead. So that makes perfect sense. And then we get the Judgment card. Okay, so this to me has something to do with a legal issue. This has a very legal feel to me. I know this card can have more than one meaning, but I think when you're talking about this, it only has one. And so I think he may have been offered a deal. He may have been said, hey, if you give us this, we'll make you this deal, that sort of thing. And he's not happy. Manafort is not happy. He's not a happy man. He is, as much as somebody like him, I guess, can feel brokenhearted and heart sick or heartache, that kind of thing, yeah, he's there, right? And for them, you know, it may not be the same depth for people like us, but it could be, you know, they're heart sick because they've lost money, they've lost power, right? It's a different mindset, but nevertheless, they can still be sad. It just doesn't usually have the same, it doesn't usually stem from the same reasons as us. Let's put it that way. So Pence, oh my gosh, Michael Pence, considering running for president in 2024. I thought we would take a little peek at that, see what's going on with him. I have not looked at Pence. I feel like it's been quite some time. So let's take a little look. Let's see. Is he going to actually run? And if he does, will he be successful? Let's see, let's see. You can hear the train going behind my house. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but I do have train tracks behind my house. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. Well, the first card is sorrow, despair, grief. Once again, kind of brokenhearted, experiencing a loss. So, okay, so if he tries, that tells me it's not going to work. His obstacle is raising enough funds. Because I would say, you know, where this is the card of, you know, working hard, I would say he would probably do that piece of that. So to me, this has more to do with the financial aspect, where he's not going to raise enough money. And then he has a tower moment. Interesting. For somebody who seems so squeaky clean, who calls his wife mother, there's something else going on there where everything starts to fall apart. Oh, and big surprise. So it has to do with his relationship with 45. So I think because of that, it's making him like untouchable. Okay. So I think a lot of people aren't going to want anything to do with him because of that. So I'm going to say no to that one. I'm sure he'll give it a whirl, but how far it'll get, not very. So Kristen Sinema, this was interesting. So she said that she would not vote for the Inflation Reduction Bill unless they took out a very interesting part. And I had to look a bit into this. And it has to do with carried interest. Carried interest. And that has to do with hedge fund managers and private equity executives receiving money from the firm's investments. So it's really interesting how she took more of like this Republican approach, something that would deeply concern Republicans. And she said, oh, no, if you don't fix that part, I'm not voting. So I thought we would just take a look at her. And then we have to talk about someone, you may not recognize her name. It's Maggie Haberman, but you're going to be very interested in this book she's coming out with. I think, and the pictures that are going to be in that book. But let's take a look at Kristen Sinema. What is going on with that woman? Okay. Okay, so we start off with she's feeling like poor me, I'm so misunderstood. Everybody's stabbing me in the back. How often do we get these cards for people like this? You know, I sort of feel like she's a plant. I don't really think she's like legit Democrat, but that's my feeling. Her obstacle, she's running out of steam. She's not as enthusiastic and as excited as she once was. She's starting to peter out. You know, she's put a lot of energy out at fighting every single thing that now it's starting to run its course. She has hidden agendas, secret motives. Who's surprised? See, that's the thing. I feel like I just feel like she's been bought and paid for. She's planted there and told this is what you do. And it's leaving her with nothing but anxiety, worry, stress, sleepless nights. So she's not in a good way. And she didn't get one card that talked about her being successful in the future. So I'm going to say her days will be numbered. She just isn't helping the party at all, is she? So, okay, so we have to talk about this book that's coming out called Confidence Man. It's by Maggie Haberman, who's a New York Times reporter and a contributor for CNN. The reason that I think it caught my attention, and maybe your attention if you know about it, she's including photos, and this is such a weird thing to talk about, of all those toilets that Trump said didn't exist, that had all those notes in there that he allegedly couldn't flush. People were taking photos. So even people that were close to him were betraying him. They weren't as loyal as he thought they were. And so she's including all these photos, and you can clearly see like names and words and things in there. Like it's pretty clear. So let's take a look at what sort of impact this is going to have, having these photos put out there and having it be part of general public knowledge. Let's see what that's going to do. Maggie Haberman. Oh, okay. The Justice card came up first. Very interesting. All right, so this actually can have legal consequences, because we do know that it's illegal to flush these sort of documents, don't we? So this is actually going to have an impact. I wasn't sure if it would or not until I actually looked right into it. The obstacle, this is going to cause the government to have to sit up and pay attention. Okay, so good for us, not so good for 45. Very interesting. Then I get my Nancy Pelosi card. So she's going to take a special interest in this also. And victory, triumph, emerging from a battle, winning. So this is going to actually have a positive outcome in terms of what it's going to do to 45. So this actually is interesting. This actually has merit. This has some weight to it. And it's just one more lawsuit. I mean, we've had so many, my goodness. But this is going to be one more, I'm going to say. So let's finish up with a 3-card pull from the fairy deck. This is Radley Valentine's. I'm just going to give it a little shuffle and just take the top 3. While I'm shuffling, get yourselves centered. Put your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath. Relax. And just ask the universe, what do I need to know right now? Okay, we have 3 cards. Go with your gut. Don't think about it. Which one resonates? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, here we go. Card number 1, 9 of Winter. Unfounded fear. Sometimes we do worry and stress out about things that really are unfounded, right? It's just our own minds playing tricks on us. Focusing on worst case scenarios, raise your hand if you do that. Allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the problem. Right, so don't put more negative energy into whatever that issue is. Second card, Princess of Autumn. Happy news about your career, promotions, or scholarships. Fantastic. Well thought out plans that go perfectly, needing a little push to get going. Yeah, I mean, if you're procrastinating or you're feeling a little stagnant, try to get that energy going in the right direction, because you got some good things going on, right around the corner. 9 of Autumn. Reward yourself for all your hard work. being happily and successfully self-employed, cherishing your time alone. You know, it's important that once you do the hard work, that you give yourself a little break, that you balance, you know, life and work, you know, play and work, and that you are practicing self-care. So, and it's also good to spend time by yourself, right? Just doing things you enjoy. That's okay. So, all right, everyone, it was a pleasure making this video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and check out membership. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.